It's Power Hour LSU.
Oh my goodness, Ole Miss fans, in the words of Cat Williams, you shouldn't have been talking shite about LSU. The way that you guys have gone about your business just for everything to burn down. I have a stand-up comedy show tomorrow night, and I guarantee you there is not a single joke I could tell that is funnier than watching the Ole Miss burners burn. I can't freaking believe it. You got people talking about leaked contracts. You got people talking about TJ Dottery, who is now in the transfer portal. He is the thumbnail image. But what happens right before the start of this live stream? What happens? They lose their best defensive end to the transfer portal. Prince Will Mamalian, his brother began his career at Florida. Then he transferred to Ole Miss, and he was fantastic. We probably don't beat Ole Miss in 2024 if he was actually healthy and played in that game. He was that good of a player. And look, the truth remains the same. Ole Miss is burning. They shouldn't have been talking all this you-know-what. But here we are. It's over. I'm sorry to say, Ole Miss fans, it's over. It's over. Congratulations. You have a defensive-minded coach who's never been a head coach before. Shiver me timbers. I am scared you-know-what-less. So welcome in. I'm not the one to dance on anyone's grave, but go to hell, Ole Miss. The most vitriolic rivalry now for all LSU fans is indeed in Oxford. Okay, so the truth remains the same. I don't care so much about Ole Miss as I do care about what is going on with our team. And by the way, a familiar name by the name of Deshaun Womack has also entered the transfer portal. Do you want him back? So you have turmoil going on in Oxford. Maybe they get it right. But the thing that makes the Prince Will commitment so crazy to me, or decommitment, or transfer portal announcement, is that they already tweeted out a graphic that he was coming back. They tweeted that out on January 5th. It was just that was 10 days ago. And now he's in the portal. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. You would think a legacy whose brother played there, who they gave Uno, the best single-digit number, the most coveted single-digit number. He got that as a true freshman. It was fantastic, but that's not enough. He doesn't want to be a part of what is going down in Oxford, Mississippi. And I don't blame him, because we all know what's going to happen. And that's why Ole Miss fans are trying to figure out what's going on with Trinidad Chambliss. And here's something that no one has even brought up about Trinidad, and I'm going to do it here for the first time. Maybe, just maybe, the reason Trinidad is trying so hard to come back into the college game, even though most of the draft experts see Trinidad as a first-round pick and no worse than a second or third-round pick, the reason Trinidad wants to come back so badly is because he knows the team is going to be horrendous next year if he is not there. And I've already said it plenty of times. That Ole Miss team was good. They were way better than us. Trinidad was, to me, by far the best quarterback in the SEC, and he was the best quarterback in the sport. He probably should have won the Heisman. But the truth is, maybe Trinidad is like, yeah, I don't I feel bad for Ole Miss. Maybe another year of college experience is good for me, but also I don't want to leave the team hanging because I know they're going to be bad next year. Cool, you got Kawan Lacey. Who else you got? Who else you got? So we'll see what happens. Now, this is the thing that it's really interesting. So LSU did just get a commit from Zach Grace, a tight end, year 4 tight end, who played roughly 100 snaps this year. Kind of a do-it-all Swiss Army knife. Plays some fullback, if you will. Obviously more of a depth piece. A lot of us view Trey Green as the starting tight end. But it is good to bring in someone that actually is a traditional tight end and not a wide receiver in a tight end spot like Trey Green is. So it is nice to bring in another piece. I'm still liking Malachi Thomas out of Pitt. I think he's going to play a little bit more than we probably think going into next year. So the LSU tight end room did get a very nice pickup. And before we get into anything else, we had one of our most viral interviews we've ever had on PHL yesterday. We really appreciate Mr. Balin Trailo. He joined us. Balin is so cool. And here's the thing. Balin talked a big game about Landen Clark. So you can go listen to the interview. It was so good, I clipped the interview and made it its own video. So you can go to last night's live stream or you can just watch the video for yourself. And Tiger Droppings got it. Everybody shared it. 200,000 views on Twitter. I really do appreciate it. I'm not that big on the totem pole of college football YouTubers. And I like covering the entire SEC. Dropped a deep film study on a new Arkansas transfer portal quarterback. But my goal is to be beige Pate. That's my job. I'm just trying to get to that level. Someone made that joke. So someone called me Dark Pate last week. But the truth remains the same. I appreciate each and every one of you. My guy Alex at the Revelry, one of the best bars in Baton Rouge and Ruston. Shout out North Louisiana. Shouted me out today. We really appreciate all the support there. Okay. So I want to talk about TJ Dottery, who is the linebacker that is starting to trend in the direction of LSU. For our YouTube members and patrons, we have a special film study for an offensive lineman who I think actually can play, Alu Ba of Maryland. I tweeted out some clips from his best game. I did some film study on him, what I like about him, some things I might dislike, but you can't really be too choosy in the transfer portal. He's an offensive guard. I do believe he's a guard. I don't think he can play tackle, but he might be able to. Lane Kiffin's a magician. He knows way more ball than any of us. So check it out for our YouTube members and patrons, Alu Ba, okay? So that's the question that Jay wants to know. Who is going to block? So Alu Ba is someone, Devin Harper. We're going to see what happens there with Ole Miss. But I want to talk about TJ Dottery, all right? So people are slandering TJ Dottery and some questionable potential things he did in the past. Like I always say with any moral obligation with any player, obviously everyone's got skeletons in their closet at every single program. I'm not going to defend anyone that did something truly morally wrong, but I mostly just stick to what is actually happening with actual football players. So with Dottery, he was a linebacker who was a legit 4-star recruit. He started his career at Clemson, didn't really do anything at Clemson. He transfers over to Ole Miss, and this is the thing that everyone is bringing up about TJ Dottery. It's that his PFF grades stunk. All right, so he was a below 55 PFF grade. A 60 PFF grade is a replacement level player. All right, so 60 is kind of like a baseline average. You want all of your starters to at least be in that 60 range at the bare minimum, up to 65. But TJ Dottery is at 54. All right, that's not that great of a PFF grade. But there needs to be extra context into that grade, okay? Where I will defend players the most when it comes to pro football focus grades is if you play an extremely high volume of snaps. So that normally leans towards offensive linemen, right? Offensive linemen and quarterbacks, they play the highest volume of snaps because they never leave the field. So that you would think it's the opposite because you're going to have a larger sample size of plays, which is true. We want a larger sample, but when you get to the upper extremities of how many snaps you play, it just opens yourself up for fatigue, and it also opens yourself up for larger swings in plays, if that makes sense, right? I know the math would say the opposite because it's a larger sample and it might paint you as a better player. And look, I have criticized TJ Dodder. He was part of our LSU Ole Miss breakdown from earlier in the season. He's a guy that some other people I trust don't really like a lot as a linebacker. But one stat I want to share is that TJ Doddery played 150 more snaps than anybody else on the Ole Miss defense. I will repeat that. He played 958 snaps. The next highest player on Ole Miss's team was 757. So there's two things you need to take away from that. The first is that he is playing way more football. It's harder to be an elite defensive player with a team that scores fast and plays quick, right? In other words, if the offense is going to be more aggressive, that's going to open yourself up for a lot more aggressive plays being thrown your way. The offense is putting forth their better effort to keep up with Ole Miss's offense. And then there's also just a fatigue factor where defensively you're going to play more snaps during the course of a game because your offense plays fast, they score quick, they score a lot of points. And you also played 150 more snaps than anybody else on your entire unit. That is so rare. That never happens. I swear to you, you will rarely see, watching PFF data, there was a guy that played that many snaps compared to everyone else on the team. So that means you're rotating in more backers, but you're staying on the field. You're rotating in more safeties, but you're staying on the field. You're rotating in more corners, defensive linemen, and you're staying on the field. It opened yourself up for a lot of bad plays and a more volatile profile. So look, does he have a questionable profile as a consistent down-to-down linebacker? Sure, right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's Dick Butkus or Devin White or whoever. But you have to factor that in. Here's another good example of this, all right? And I look at it somewhat in the same way. Now, Dottery is not this level of player, but I go back to Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor, in one of his final seasons at LSU, it might have been 2022, or that was his first season, but it might have been 2023 or 2024. Mason Taylor had a 60 PFF grade. All right, he had a 60 PFF grade. Remember, we just told you a minute ago, a replacement level player. Do you really think Mason Taylor was an average replacement level player? No. It's just in that offense, we were asking him to do a lot, which is the exact same thing Ole Miss was asking TJ Dottery to do. All right. And once again, Dottery isn't as good of a player as Mason Taylor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. But Mason Taylor, for a tight end like Dottery, played a ridiculously high volume of snaps. Ridiculously high for a tight end. Okay? So I really, really, really do like the experience that TJ Dottery is going to come in to LSU with. If he does end up committing, we'll see what happens. You know, the powers that be think it's happening. Maybe Ole Miss, makes bygones be bygones, and they're able to make all of us look like idiots, and they're able to re-sign all these kids. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. But what I can tell you, one final bonus for TJ Dottery is that LSU did bring over Chris Kiffin as the co-linebackers coach. And it would be nice for Chris getting this on-field coaching job alongside Blake Baker. It would be nice for Chris to have one of his own guys in that room to go along with Whit Weeks. That would be a pretty good linebacker pairing if you ask me. Okay? So I am pretty excited about what LSU did today in the transfer portal. All right? Then the other player that there is a heavy trend for LSU for is a guy by the name of Fahim Delane, a transfer from Ohio State who got a really raw deal this past year. He played in 5 games per PFF as a true freshman. I hate that, especially if you have Caleb Downs. There's no need to burn that kid's red shirt for a 5th game. I don't know if there was an injury or not that prevented him from playing, and they already decided, hey, we're not going to burn you this year. I hate that. It just makes your skin crawl if somebody plays a 5th game. It's why I will always defend Michael Van Buren until I leave this planet Earth for what he did for LSU. If you're burning a red shirt, just playing a few extra games, you're really putting the team first. So Fahim Delane, brother of Mansour Delane, a safety from Ohio State. What a school. Ohio State is arguably safety U. They have put out so many good ones, from Malcolm Jenkins now to obviously Caleb Downs, who's one of the best safeties we've ever seen in college football. So, Delane didn't play much because of that. Ohio State's got dudes all over that secondary, all over that defense. And he comes over as a top 100 recruit who played a decent amount. 18 snaps were the most snaps he played in a game. A lot of that was mop-up duty versus UCLA, where they were blowing him out 34-0. But, man, anyone with the last name Delane, come on down. It's interesting. You go back to the last time there was an all-time great safety at LSU who had a younger brother who went to a different school. We came back to regret not going after that younger brother. And that younger brother's name was Justin Reed. All right. Genetics are a very powerful thing. All right. So I'm all about Fahim Delane coming over. I do think LSU could use another safety. I do think LSU is in a quandary right here trying to replace A.J. Halsey, one of the best defensive backs ever to play at LSU. And, well, you've done pretty well bringing in Ty Benefield already. And you do have Deshaun Spears coming back. You do have DeMarcus Cooley coming back. But you have to factor in this LSU actually want a nickel to actually play the star role, or do they want a linebacker like Harold Perkins to play the star role next season? So I'm a big believer in safety depth. As I have grown as a college football analyst, as I have grown as an all-22 analyst and just watching breakdowns and doing breakdowns, I have grown in the collegiate game that the safety position is more important than at any other level. All right. In high school, there's a lot of teams that run 3 safety stuff. In the pros, I still think the edges are where it's made in professional football. That's why the corners are paid the most and the edge players are paid what they are. But in college, it's a lot different, right? The hash marks are wider. So with those hash marks being wider, I do think, and once again, this is just anecdotal. I probably should ask more college safeties this question, but I do think with that being the case, you got to cover more ground. So, I am pretty high on getting another safety, and if it's Fahim Delane, I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so there you go. M. Dingle says Delane already committed. Maybe I just mistaken that. I've tried to be on top of everything today. I was in the. I do not see a commitment. The only thing I saw were some trend meters. Okay. D's White NUTZ. This dude makes me laugh. He's talking about almonds as he's holding a thing of almonds. Eric Reed, yes. You see, look, Brian knew exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go to our first super chat of the evening. Benny, I'm mad at the man. Send me the Addy so I can bring the tomatoes. Oh, you want to come to the comedy show tomorrow? I'll put you on my guest list. Hit me up. Power Hour LSU on Twitter or Instagram. You'll see me bomb, dude. I went up on Tuesday night, and it was Hiroshima. You want to hear silence? Huh? Go to an Ole Miss game next season, or come see me do stand up. You're gonna hear a pin drop. Side of Nick. Look at Nick. All right, I want to give this out. All right, I tried to give it out last week. We didn't get any new patrons. We didn't get any new members. Sometimes that happens. Next patron or member, either one, it's only $3.99. I'm sending you this Quan Alexander autograph card. We need more. You see how Benny's got that insignia next to his name? Join our patron. I just dropped the Alou Ba film study. Who doesn't want to see offensive line film study? You guys talk about it all the time. We need new offensive linemen. That's what we need. We need some more hog mollies in the trenches. I drop an offensive line film study. Nobody watches. Alou Ba's got that slab. Now, that's what we need. All right. So let's go to the biggest name in the transfer portal. could LSU land the biggest fish? And I'm not even talking about it. We're not even talking about a fish. And Lane's a fisherman. I'm talking about a whale. And I know a whale is technically a mammal. Get out of here with that Steve Irwin BS. We are talking about the biggest whale in the transfer portal, literally and figuratively. His name is Jordan Seaton. I remember just yesterday, Jordan Seaton was on First Things First with Skip Bayless, and I think it was Shannon Sharp at the time, before the Instagram sex scandal thing with Shannon. I'm a Shannon guy. I was just kind of crazy. Whatever. Jordan Seaton committed to Colorado, and he's been at Colorado, and he enters the transfer portal late. And what happens today? Everyone thought it was going to be Texas because Texas has spent the most money. They got Cam Coleman, who was the best player in the transfer portal by far, even though a colleague of mine didn't like some of the things that Cam Coleman did. Cam Coleman could play, and he's the best player in the SEC, in my opinion. It's either him or Colin Simmons. Pick one, okay? So he goes to Texas. They're on the same team now, which is scary. And Texas, magically, I don't know how it happened. There is a Wake Forest offensive tackle who entered the transfer portal with a do not contact tag, and he immediately committed to Texas. Now, how does that happen? I don't know. The kid, I think, this is what I think happened. The kid was looking at some old Ricky Williams highlights, and then he watched some Roger Clemens highlights. And then the kid said, you know what, I'm going to leave Tim Duncan U, and I'm going to go play for the Texas Longhorns. That's the only thing that happened. I don't think there was any compensation involved. That's what I think happened. Boom, portal, do not contact tag, immediately can commit to Texas. That's all it was. It was a revelation. So many people took that as, well, Texas is out of the Jordan Seaton market, and then they went fishing, and they got somebody else. And this magical situation happened with this kid in Texas, okay? So Jordan Seaton is still out there. LSU still needs offensive tackle help. They still need offensive line help. And there are some little birdies out there that think Jordan Seaton is not only going to visit the Baton Rouge, but he could actually commit. Now, here's the thing about the Jordan Seaton thing that I think it's very different than Sam Leavitt, where Sam Leavitt was the number one transfer portal quarterback, and we needed to be very aggressive bidders and all of that. But that is our brand. What is QBU right now in college football? What is QBU? It's still LSU. It still is LSU. 2 Heisman Trophy winners and Lane Kiffin. You can't really beat that. All right? That's the brand. You know, we are not an offensive line brand. All right? Sure, Will Campbell. What else do we have to show for it? No first-round pick since 98. So for us to get this done, we have got to be aggressive. All right? We've got to pay up. We got a new offensive line coach. All right? So I do think LSU is interested. I do. Now, here's the question. What if old Billy Glasscock called me up and said, Carter, you watch LSU football all the time. Should we do this? Should we pay up to get Mr. Seaton? And the answer is yes, you should do it. You should do it. That's how important a great offensive tackle can be for you. Here's the thing that people get wrong about offensive tackle play all the time. It's not necessarily that you're a great offensive tackle. It's you're not a bad offensive tackle. Offensive tackles is a weak link position. All right? You don't need to be the absolute best at any position on the offensive line to win big in college football. You don't need it. But you just need to be good. Here's the thing about Jordan Seaton and the rest of the offensive line market is that there's not many guys who are in the portal on the offensive line that are baseline level good. At wide receiver, There's a gazillion of them. A gazillion. Trust me. If you're a wide receiver and you're in the portal, you have visited Baton Rouge. You have had Coffee Call. You have had Mike Anderson's. You've had Building 5, BLDG 5, underneath the overpass on Perkins. You've had it. You've had it. But the truth is, and I'm looking at you right now, offensive line plays a different animal. Life is about being bold. So I do think it's worth it. I do. Now, do we have it? I don't know. I really, really, really don't. Now, you get into, well, if you're paying this young man so much money, what's the rest of the team going to think? It is one of those things, right? You're just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm in on the Jordan Seaton sweepstakes. I am. Okay. Now, last thing before we get to our new member, right? So let's go ahead and get to him. Congrats, Mr. Ndangle. Look at those sunshades, baby. Looking like Agent Anderson there. Boom. Shoot me an email, mdangle. I'm going to send you this Quan Alexander autograph card. TJ Dottery, watch this young man's film. And if you're half as good as Quan Alexander, I'll love you forever. Let's talk about Kevin Smith, LSU running backs coach. You guys know I don't like to be Mr. Super Serious all the time. And I love the fact that I saw Kevin Smith rolling around, making recruiting visits while blaring Boosie. You want to get LSU fans on your side? Just tweet videos of you listening to Lil Boosie. Now, he did a baseline Boosie. Set this off. Now, Kevin, we got to go deeper cut. Next video, Kevin, I need crazy. I pistol. Oh, man. Friend of the show, Lil Boosie, who's part of the introduction. Yeah, I do too, Smitty. Welcome. All right. 378 of y'all in here. Please hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell. And if you can, go share it on Facebook. I am so bad on Facebook. I know I complain about it all the time, but Mr. Zuck and I don't get along. And I like Mark Zuckerberg. Social Network's a great movie. I'm friends with the lady who was in the Social Network. My wife touched Justin Timberlake's hand almost a year ago today. But Zuck, bro, come on, bro. Push me on your algorithm. I'll do whatever you say, Zuck. I hate the Winklevoss twins. That should help my Facebook algorithm. I use WhatsApp every day. Now, I'll play what? FarmersOnly.com? No, that's the dating website for Bubba's. What's the crop game? Is that even still a thing? I did get some Meta AI glasses. Y'all want me to film? Look at this. I can't really put them on with the headset. Actually, I can. See, it should light up right here. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. You see how it's lighting up? There you go. So now I got to hold on to it. So now it's recording. Look at how cool I look in these. I can't put them on because my head's too big with the headset. I'll post this clip a little bit later. So, Zuck, if you're listening, bro, push my shit. Kayla, the beat. Final two numbers. I think Gainey becomes a RB2 with a big roll. Ooh. Your first ever comment, you're coming in with the scorcher? So if Gainey comes in, he's got to beat out 3 running backs who have actually done the daggum thing at the P4 level. He's got to beat out Dylan Jones, Dilin Jones, and then Harlan Berry and Caden Durham. I am just going to say it. I will go down with the ship. I don't care if this take follows me alongside my Mo Hampton take. I get stuff wrong. I know I'm Mr. Film guy, but film people get it wrong too. There are scouts that watch millions of hours, and they still come to the conclusion that Jalen Reagor is better than Justin Jefferson. People get things wrong all the time. But I'm here to tell you, Caden Durham could still play football. Caden Durham could still play football. And I think a lot of you think Harlan Berry's a real deal. And I do think so as well. Okay. But obviously, the offensive line's going to matter. The play calling's going to matter. The development's going to matter. Eric Walford's going to matter. Beside his Sibley, some more of my members. AP holding it down. All right. Coming up next, we've got more tackle football to chat. But more importantly, it's time to get the guillotine out. Power Hour Network listeners and viewers, you might be consuming this content with that crick in your back that you've been trying to get rid of for so long. Take this as your sign today to book your appointment with LabourdTherapy.com. In the Lafayette region, there is no one that you will find that cares more about any different type of pain that you might have than the team at LabourdTherapy.com. Book today. Once again, that's LABORDE therapy.com, or you can visit one of their 5 locations all throughout the Lafayette region. All righty. Yeah, please hit the like button. Big thanks to Laborde Therapy and LabourdTherapy.com. By far my biggest partners here on PHL. Please check them out. Go like them on Facebook. And if you could do this for me right now, even if you don't have that crick in your back or a bad leg or any of that, please send a message to Laborde Therapy on Facebook and Instagram and tell them thank you that they are supporting me. All right, they like supporting me. Thomas at Laborde Therapy, I've shared this story plenty of times. We welcome in people of all faiths here on PHL, but Thomas was my brother in Christ when I was a young freshman, didn't have a lot of friends at LSU. Thomas always prayed for me, and he welcomed me basically into his friend group. And he is still blessing me to this day. Get you some good brothers in your walk with Christ. It's so important. I'm not the best Christian. You guys know that, but there you go. Now, I hate to talk about LSU basketball. I hate to do it. But what happens? The Kentucky game was going on. And I always have this policy when I do a show while LSU men's basketball is going on. I'll rarely do a show while LSU women's basketball is going on because you guys know how much I love watching the women's games. But I didn't say anything about the game until the second half. But I did tweet after the stream was over, Matt McMahon, don't hurt me tonight. You have hurt me so much. I've spent a fortune for my wife and I on my birthday weekend. Not this weekend, but the next. And I don't have a lot of money, I swear to you. I'll show you my bank account. We are going to Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I was like, you know what? Boot the F up. I saw us beat Boston College, and I was like, I'm going to go see an LSU game. But I don't want to go to the PMAC. And then I saw there was a game in Fayetteville. A lot of you know my best friends, my best friend lives in Baton Rouge. My godson lives in Fayetteville. So I'm going to get to go see him. I'm going to go to the game. And I was like, you know what? We're not going to be 0-4 in conference. At least we're not going to be 0-4. But damn it, we're 0-4 in conference. We are 0-4 in conference. I promise. I lost 20 viewers even talking about this. But it's so important to get this off my mother freaking chest. I am sick and tired of this. This is unacceptable. There was 14 SEC teams that made the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, and we were one of the 2 of them. The other team was South Carolina. And guess what? They kicked our ass on our home floor a few weeks ago. But guess what? We get the most meager Kentucky Wildcat team in 4 score in 7 years, and we can't close them out. God bless. I knew better. I knew better than to do what I did for Matt McMahon. I was going to go on the road and support my lovely LSU Tigers. We cannot do anything right. We lose in the most heartbreaking fashion, blow another 18-point lead just for people to keep tweeting out those old clips when we blew a 30-point lead when we were actually good like 2 decades ago. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't even know why I brought it up. I'm dropping my pen everywhere. I am furious. But I'm still going to go. I'm still going to support you, man. I'm still going to Fayetteville, and I will die for LSU basketball. That's how much I freaking love it. I went to the John Brady basketball camps growing up. I went to the Dale Brown basketball camps. I freaking love it. I love the all-time great Shaquille O'Neal, Pistol Pete, Bob Pettit. You guys know those guys. But I also love Bo Spencer, Eddie Ludwig, players that a lot of us have never even heard about. I freaking love this team. But for the Rudy Macklins and all the Temples out there, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It is not allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. And I better believe Mr. Verge Osbury, who I trust to go get us a big fish. He's done some interviews recently. They've asked him about Matt McMahon. And you know what, Verge? He expects the best out of LSU. There's nobody that has ever been in a higher office at LSU that is holding LSU to the standard that we should be held at. All right? I don't care if LSU men's basketball is ever elite. I don't. We're spoiled already. We got a great football program, got a great women's basketball program, got a great baseball program, got a pretty good softball program, got a great gymnastics program that is inspiring women all throughout the state of Baton Rouge, from infants to my 90, just turned 100-year-old grandmother who does not miss a gymnastics meet. So we are spoiled, probably the most spoiled fan base when it comes to success. But the bottom line, we have got to make a basketball tournament that takes in 78 gazillion teams every year. You need to be able to make it at least once over a 4-year period. But we're not going to make it this year. And it's been 4 years. I think Verge is going to go big game hunting. And I don't care if he doesn't land somebody big. But I trust this man. And I know many are going to say, well, he's a football guy. And he is a football guy. Played football. He is a football guy through and through. But I think he's going to assemble a great staff, Scott Ballard, everyone on the border regions. Hell, you know what we should do? Let Collis Temple do it. Get Collis, Garrett from the NBA, and we could find a diamond in the rough. Let Collis Temple go find us a coach. I guarantee you, he won't fail. You want someone that loves basketball? Go get the Temple family. They know hoops. They know someone that is willing to get the job done at LSU. Okay, I need a great team. I don't need an elite team. I don't need us up there with the Tennessees and Arkansas. I don't need it. I don't need it. But I guarantee it. We need to call Tony Bennett. We need to call him. Wife went to LSU, and he plays a completely different style of play than everybody else in college basketball. It's boring, but with Tony Bennett's style, you can win with lesser talent. You can win with Kyle Guys and DeAndre Hunters and those kind of guys. Kihei Clarks. All right, so I'm sorry, long basketball rant. Matt McMahon, I love you. I'm still going up there. I'm still going to cheer my ass off. I'm still going to be wearing my LSU gear in a sea of red. Bud Walton Arena is ruthless to opposing fans, but I'm still going to be there 10 freaking toes down supporting my basketball Tigers. But I guarantee you, Shaq's probably not happy about this. Rudy Mack, the people that actually matter, they're not happy about this. Okay? But I will shut up about it unless you guys want to talk about it. Here's one more thing, and Lynn, I appreciate that, and we did just give 5 memberships out. Thank you, Benny. We appreciate it. PHL Nation. Forgot to say Ben Simmons. What? Get out of it. Both of y'all said this at the same time. Ben Simmons? Oh, he went number 1 overall. We didn't make the tournament with Ben Simmons. Give me someone else other than Ben Simmons. Oh, are we going by Instagram followers? Call Tony Bennett. Now, before we get to Lin Super Chat. Last thing on basketball. I don't think Will Wade is what the answer is for what we have here. Would this excite me? Yes. Yes. I would be pretty excited if the general's back. But damn. I'm not a big fan of Tony Bennett's style, by the way. I just think with Tony Bennett's style, you can win games if you don't want to give him a gazillion dollars. I think it's even smarter to get someone like that in the NIL transfer portal era because he's going to recruit guys that's going to stay at your university for 2 or 3 years. But seriously, go big game hunting. Go what the worst thing they could do is say no. The worst thing they can do is say no. All right? Okay. Imagine this. As big of a deal as Lane Kiffin was, all right? And it is still the biggest story, and it's still the coach that I want over any other coach in any other sport. But imagine if Verge really tried to, go grand slam hunting, and he calls Jay Wright. And Jay Wright's like, you know what? The SEC sounds kind of tempting. You guys are thinking about building a new basketball arena. I'm kind of wanting to get back into coaching. What is he gonna what is he gonna do? What could he do at LSU? Now, obviously, that's never going to happen. He's the best coach, not coaching right now, probably in any sport outside of Nick Saban, but you get the point. Lin says, my nephew Paul met you at the card show in Shreveport. I told him to look for you, and he sent me a pic he took with you. And you didn't come, Lin? Lin! What? I've even sent you a card before because of your support of PHL. And your nephew Paul? Oh, my God. I kind of want to see the $10 back. It pissed me off. I wanted to meet nephew Paul was cool. I don't know if I remember nephew Paul. I took a lot of photos. There's a lot of people that showed up for PHL. Shout out to everyone at the Shreveport Card Show. My guy Colvin. Only thing about the Shreveport Card Show is I did not get my photo with Dustin Poirier. I did with Matt Schnell. He gave me this autograph photo. I kind of want to give this out. Matt's a friend. Matt actually stopped me at the show. And he's actually a bad BAMF. Appreciate Matt's support. Appreciate Dustin Poirier. That's an A-lister coming to Shreveport. That's pretty cool stuff. Bruce Pearl's not. No. No. I wouldn't want that either. Because would you really want a coach who, on his conscience, nepotism hired his son as the head coach, and then, I'm taking the LSU job? No. But can Bruce Pearl coach? Yeah. Yeah. He's good. He's really, really, really good. Okay. Kevin Boyd. I don't even know who the hell that is. Kevin Boyd? Do I look like Andy Katz here? Do I look like Dick Vitale? Myron Metcalf? Is that what I look like? No, I'm not Aaron Torres here. I'm not of that college basketball knowledge, but let me know. But damn it, dude. One college basketball program I love is Georgetown. Can't stand them sucking. Ooh. I grew up on John Thompson. Okay. Right now, Jordan Seaton is on a visit to Mississippi State. Sibley's in on Bruce Pearl. Okay. I'm not going to make this a men's basketball channel, even though I still support him and I love him. Okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about our interview from yesterday regarding Landen Clark. All right, so, I knew when I went to, because Landen's trainer, Braylon Trujillo, he wanted the interview so he could share it with people. And so I clipped it. I clipped the clip where Landen said he told Lane Kiffin, because they called Landen and said, hey, we're signing Sam Levitt. That's something that they already knew. And they also signed Hassan Longstreet. And per Balin, Landen was like, I don't care. I'm going to prove I'm the best quarterback in this room. All right, so Landen retweeted the clip. Balin retweeted the clip. And that could rub people the wrong way. Many people view you as the third quarterback on the totem pole. You're the least heralded of the quarterbacks, played at Elon and all of that. But I want my Lane Kiffin quarterbacks to have that type of mentality. All right. There is a difference in I am the best and carrying yourself around others like I am the best. There's two different things. Your own personal mentality should be, I am the best at what I do. Okay. Whether you're an accountant, if you love your job, or you're a shelf stocker or whatever, I'm the best. But when you're around other people, are you helping other people out? Are you walking around like you're better than everyone else? And Landen Clark does not do that. All right. So, I understand some people were rubbed wrongly about Landen Clark's trainer saying that. But most of you, I would say 90 to 95% of you said, I like it. And you should. You should. Because in order to be a quarterback in the Southeastern Conference, you've got to have that mentality. It is a mind F word when you walk into a stadium and there are 100,000 people in that stadium. You've got to lock in. You've got to be, I am that BAMF. I am him. I am built different. So, as you guys know, I don't just do interviews with schlubs. Every interview I'm going to do on here, we're still batting 1,000. We've never had a bad guest on here. Never. Ask anyone ask Tony, anyone in the chat right now, Lin, who's been with me for a while. We're very lucky. Every interview we've ever done has been great. I've had some bizarre ones, but at least it was compelling. That was really good. All right. I appreciate Balin for being honest and so on and so on. But is there a real possibility that Landen can start over Sam Levitt next year? Obviously, the chances of that are slim. But is there a possibility? You betcha. And if there's anyone that would do it, it's Lane. Because, if you look at it from Lane's point of view, one thing that would have been very good for Lane Kiffin's resume is a Heisman Trophy. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face. The only thing that held Trinidad Chambliss back from winning the Heisman Trophy was not playing the first couple of games of the season. His numbers would have cooked Mendoza's. Now, would he have actually won the award over Mendoza with 2 extra games of statistics at the pace he was going? It's tough, right? His touchdown numbers would have been closer to Mendoza. His passing yard total would have been way higher because it was already higher with the amount of games and the disparity there to begin with. But Lane is going to go into this saying, hey, Levitt's going to be my guy. But it's always going to be in the back of your mind, am I actually playing the right guy? So I am hoping for Landen to do the best. And I become friends with Landen. We've DM'd just a few times. I wouldn't say friends. I don't want to go that far. But I like him. He's a nice guy. And I become really good friends with Balin. Talked to him, last night, sharing in the clips and all of that. I even asked Balin if it was okay for me to post that clip because that's a bold claim. And he said, yeah, go on ahead. Landen liked it, retweeted everything that we did. But this is always going to be my policy. I just want whoever is best for LSU. That's it. That's it. Bottom line. If it's Hassan Longstreet, sign me up. Sign me up. Okay? Oh, this is a good question right here from Brennan Westmoreland. Carter, can I please get a Tory Carter appreciation talk? And do you think Lane got his Tory Carter today? And the young man from Oregon, let me make sure I get his name correctly. Zach Grace. His younger brother was also on a visit, a linebacker. Maybe so. Grace has not played a whole lot of football, but he does give you a fullback option. In a Lane offense, there's not a whole lot of fullback usage, right? They're mostly going to stay in 11 personnel and they're going to go fast. Whereas, a school like Georgia, that kind of second tight end, H-back kind of player, even though they don't use fullbacks hardly at all either, it matters a little bit more that second tight end role. But I am glad that you got someone from a respectable program. And by the way, from a mentality standpoint, how many programs have the same bring-in right now as Oregon? Right? Literally, everybody talks about Dan Lanning as if his players have that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, and they do. Oregon is a really well-built program, and the two, they lost twice to the best team in the sport this year. So, I like the fact that we're getting somebody from that program because I think there's quite a few of you that are pretty big Dan Lanning fans. Let's just say the Lane Kiffin thing didn't happen. I think a lot of you would have had Lanning as your number 2 guy. Okay. We talked about Prince Will a little bit earlier. Let me see. I'm going to miss and Lin, hey Lin, you have my email. Send me the photo of me and Paul. Leon, what's good, bro? We got a hurricane member. Good to see you. Yeah, Leon, let's talk about your Canes for a little bit. Leon, let me know if you're still in here. I do think Indiana rolls. I do. I just think they do. I haven't really done a deep breakdown on it. Obviously, we know the strengths of Miami's team. The longer layoff does help Miami a lot more than it does help Indiana, I believe, because Indiana's a better coach team. They've been the better team. They have played in more, lackadaisical games, and Miami's played in one extra playoff game compared to Indiana's, even though they played the same amount of total games because Miami wasn't in their conference championship game. But yeah, I think Indiana wins this game. I think it's like a 27 to 17 kind of thing. So I don't think that they roll. I do think this game could be a little ugly. So I do think they get it done. Okay. I just don't know how much trouble Ole Miss fans realize they're in. I didn't say that smoothly at all. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. All right. And they're really hoping that this last Hail Mary attempt with their quarterback Trinidad Chambliss actually works out. So Leon, let me know who you think's going to win. I hope you're still in here. I always love Leon. He's given a lot of money to the channel, so we appreciate you too. Okay. We're a little late to everybody's favorite segment, which is what did Lane Kiffin tweet today? We always do it around the 30-minute mark. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about Drew Brees. Happy birthday to the GOAT. Lane Kiffin retweets Drew Brees. Now, is there a Lane Kiffin Drew Brees connection? Well, obviously Lane's dad is known for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa 2 defense. But yeah, there are things that Lane runs that the Sean Payton Saints run. We did a full breakdown of a play the Saints ran that Joe Brady took from the Saints to 2019 LSU that Lane Kiffin ran a decent amount this year. Ironically, he ran it against Tulane quite a bit, and it's a play called Spear. All right, so if you want the full Spear breakdown, it's one of our videos, right? I'll link it down below. So Lane obviously has studied 2019 LSU and the Saints, and Drew Brees is one of the best runners of Spear. Okay. Booger McFarland showing some love to Kevin Smith, who was at Booger's old high school. Franklin Parish stand-up. We talked about Kevin Smith a little bit earlier today. Let's go through a few more Lane tweets. There's a photo yet again. And then change the name of Kiffin Field, or change the name Kiffin Field at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. And then the Liberty Rebels said, no, Vaught Kiffin Stadium at Hollingsworth Field. Huh? Lane Kiffin said, let him. I know that is driving him crazy. Shout out Blake getting the retweet here. Oregon tight end H-back Zach Grace. 24 games in Oregon and appeared in a variety of roles for the Ducks. Dude has a mean streak. He does wear number 44. All right. 44 has always been a sicko number at LSU. So last year was Jack Pyburn, certified sicko, friend of the channel. Sleek Roy, also friend of the channel, former guest. J.C. Copeland also wore number 44. So you got to be a BAMF to wear that number at LSU. Preston, the retweet from Lane. Guys, this coaching staff gets LSU. Lane Kiffin changed coaching forever. John Summerall doing the tiger or the gator emoji. Here is a quote from Andre Champagne or Champagna. Shout out to Andre. He's got some good tweets. When you see your coach doing the same thing that you do, it makes it easier to ride behind them. I want to get behind that. What is Lane Kiffin cooking up today? I love this name. He's our Ho 77. I'm following back. That's a great name. I didn't know he followed me. Good stuff. I promise you this is going to be a great day for LSU football. Michael Irvin says, quit asking for tickets to the national championship game. It is like that sometimes. It's one of the best things about getting out of the traditional media. I don't get asked that question as much. The latest SEC transfer portal team rankings. LSU number 1, Ole Miss number 2. Two great programs, the way it should be. I love it. Marissa Ayers make it public with Jaxson Dart. And Cam Scattaboo said, give back my boy. That's hilarious. Dang, man. Jaxson Dart's an ugly individual. How did he pull Marissa Ayers? Is that a retweet? Oh, it's an ad from Grant Cardone. Lane Kiffin tweeting out the Starbucks cup. I thought Lane would have been more of a 7 brew guy. I like Starbucks too. You got this. Lane says it's rat poison that you consider the best quarterback room in college football, ours. And look, Lane Kiffin, I didn't see that Lane Kiffin tweeted this out. Did not see this. I swear to you. Thank you, Lane, for the retweet. Well, he didn't retweet me. He retweeted Landen. Good stuff. I'm glad Lane is on board. Because you always worry, like if you're tweeting out something like this. But that's what Lane wants. That's what Lane wants. And here he is, obviously, when he was with Alabama. Got the whole fam here. We'll keep it going and then get back to your comments. Lane says it's rat poison doing the Sabanisms. Oh, is Ben Mintz leaving the Ole Miss fan base? Going to Tulane? So there you go. We get into some tweets from yesterday that we already covered. So that is what Lane tweeted today. Welcome to the membership. Nick's Bata Trust. Oh, I sound like a hater? A head ball coach? Bring that A to Oxford next year. I'll come. Oh, I got a place to stay in Oxford. I'm coming. I like Oxford. I do. Okay, I used to think, well, I need to go back to say if the Grove is overrated or not. All right. I do think when it comes to college bars, the library is up there. All right. It's definitely top 5 college bar in the SEC. I will also say I'm severely biased because I do have a connection to the library, but I love Oxford's downtown. The Graduate Hotel in Oxford's pretty nice. Now, I won't be staying there because I don't have a bajillion dollars for the game weekend. But P. Mike, my former roommate here, he says the Grove is overrated AF. I think for tailgating it is. I do. When I went, I didn't think it was much of anything. But then again, that was the worst Ole Miss team of all time, and that was our second best team of all time back in 2011. So I need to go back. Obviously, this one's going to be a little bit different, though. So I do think it would also be a disservice to the rest of the tailgates. And I'm going to be, if I do go to Oxford next year, I'm going to be going to the most epic tailgate. Okay. But yeah, I come on, head ball coach. Come see me face to face. Come on. I ain't ducking no smoke. I'm kidding. I'm not a fighter. You kick my ass. Yeah. Let's go to Sibley. Texas should never complain about a schedule. Received the softest football schedule when entering the SEC. Well, let's take a look. Obviously, they got to play us. So that's one loss for them. Kidding. It's going to be a great game. So is Texas's schedule easier? Because that was a big complaint when it comes to the rest of the SEC. The answer is no. Like Texas, you can make a case as the hardest SEC schedule simply because they have to play Ohio State. And I know that's not an SEC team, but come on. I mean, you can't schedule a more difficult out-of-conference team than Ohio State. It's impossible. So they start off with, obviously, Texas State, Ohio State, UTSA, and then they're at Tennessee. All right, so Tennessee the week before gets Kennesaw State. And then Texas has an early bye week, and then they're at the neutral site game versus Oklahoma, and that's 3 straight weeks that they are away from Austin. They went on a 4-week stretch earlier this year. And then they get 3 straight home games, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, back-to-back road games, 3 of their Final Fours on the road. So, yeah, you could make a strong case that this is actually one of the tougher SEC schedules next year. The big benefit, though, is that they don't get Georgia and they don't get Alabama. So that's obviously really, really, really big. You can make a case those are the 2 best programs in the SEC. But once again, you factor in the Ohio State thing, okay? Ohio State's going to be really good next year. Newsflash. Yeah, their entire defense is going to the draft. Styles is a first-round pick. Downs is a first-round pick. Reese is a first-round pick. Sure. But it's Ohio State. Tony! I thought you were missing tonight, Tony. I was going to hire Boba Fett to track you down to figure out what the hell was going on with Tony. Tony, you have not missed a live stream in 7 years. Oh, hell yeah. He's our ho. Just gave us a shout down. Shout out. He's our ho. That is just the best username. I still just for clarity here, before we do have to skedaddle. It is still crazy to me that reporter called Lane a hoe and that Lane checked him on it. Still wild to me. Debo the God, R.I.P. Debo. Ole Miss is burnt. No more burning. Pete is drunk. Well, I'm not. One thing you won't see from me, I won't make a joke about Pete Golding's past regarding that. Here's what I would tell you, all right? And this is on pretty good authority. When it comes to actually knowing X's and O's in the game of football, there's not many people that know it better than Golding. He really, really, really knows ball. It's not really a shock when you've never been a head coach and you're able to fully focus in on being a DC, and you had what you had with Saban, and then you left Saban and you get this experience now with an offensive coach where you have more autonomy. You're just going to know more than practically everyone, and he's just a special talent, right? Even though he's not that great of a DC, Ron Roberts is like well respected. Okay. So I really, really, really do think Pete Golding knows ball. But he's not an analytics guy, I don't think. And he made a few mistakes in that Georgia game that almost cost him. And I'm not a big fan of his 2-minute defensive play calling. But yeah, this is his first really tough day on the job. Blake Baker. I listened to like the first. Actually, I saw it like right before I got on here. So shout out to Jacob and Matt, Jacob Hesser and Mr. Matt Flynn, national champions, having Mr. Blake Baker on the show. Going to be a great season for Blake Baker. But yeah, Ole Miss is sizzling right now. You want to know something crazy? So, when I went to the wedding in Oxford right before the season began, I go. They have a nice gym in the hotel called the Graduate, good little hotel gym. But on the top floor, they have a bar named Coops. All right, so Coops is the name of the bar on their top floor. So I go up there. Bar is really nice. Nice people. I had some burger sliders. They're delish. And I go in there. And what do they have on the TV? The Garrett Nussmeier 2024 victory over Ole Miss in Tiger Stadium. That is literally what they had on the TV. And that was when I knew it was going to be an epic night. And it was an epic wedding. Top 5 wedding I've been an attendee for. Then again, mostly DJ weddings. I never get to actually go to weddings. And your boy had a good time. And I was shocked that no one in Coops turned that off. I tweeted about it. I was like, I know Oxford's going to be fun tonight. They have got some good television selections. I got there when Xavion had that catch and they overturned it. There he is. I told you he was going to come out here. He's our ho. I love it. I need a shirt that says that. He's our ho. LSU empty sets in the future should be fun. Welcome to the channel, Alex Jr. You got a College World Series hat on. Congrats. Good to see you. Alex is a conspiracist. You see, he's still got the strings in his headphones. George Kittle There's many people who actually believe that. They don't trust the actual Bluetooth. I don't like wearing headphones. But I do because I move too much. I move too much when I'm on here, so I got to wear this. So, yeah, I mean, look. I want Ole Miss fans to trash talk me. I do. I do. Are we teetering too far into analytics? No. I do think, well, actually, in some ways, yes, I do. I think when it comes to 2-point conversions, teams go for it way too early. Way too early. Actually, Pete made that decision where he should have just kicked an extra point to go up 13-7 instead of go for 2 to go up 14-7. The G code. Let's go. But yeah, I am going to be interested to see how many of these Dotteries, Princeleys, Prince Wills can they actually convince to come back. Let's go to Ronnie. Why do you think Lane took so many receivers in the portal? And he's still taking them, by the way. I don't know. It doesn't, and honestly, you guys know I'm pro Lane on a lot of things. I don't know why. It does seem like it's a lot. And you re-signed Phillip Wright as well. So you have to factor that in. I did see that Teron Francis did sign with West Virginia. But, I keep going back to what I've said about Lane and his offense. You just play so many more snaps in that offense, and your wide receivers sprint a lot more, okay? Not only in terms of the actual routes that they run, but they actually have to sprint the football to the referee. And you've seen this with a few different Lane teams. You go back a few years ago, they were still really good when Trey Harris wasn't healthy. And you saw this past season, where as the season moved on, Stribling became, a more important piece for what they were doing. But I really don't know. I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot. But someone changed your comment? That's crazy. Well, I love you, Alex. My email, powerhourlsu@gmail.com. Oh, you want your card? Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's my last Quan Alexander autograph. I love me some Quan Alexander. And why is the Quan Alexander card so important? Because we got so many viewers from Alabama, and Quan's from Alabama. And they named a dance after him. Hit the Quan. Y'all know that song. All right, we'll take a few more here. And when I get off here, go check out Blake Ruffino, AYS Sports. Check out everybody. All right. Got to be honest. The biggest thing that happened today regarding a talking point that we had a little bit earlier in the season is that LSU women's basketball did schedule UConn for a non-conference game next year. Thankfully, I'm glad that they did, because we were not ready for the first 2 games of conference. Even if UConn blows our asses out next year, we need a game that we know is going to be competitive. We're not going to blow UConn out. Yeah, we did schedule Duke at Duke. So there you go. Jordan Seaton. Crazy. Oklahoma got a confirmation that John Mateer is re-signed. Isaiah Satania is also back. Okay. Now, here's a good thing for us, even though I think Oklahoma's going to be pretty good next year. We do not play them. I do a lot of Oklahoma stuff. Oh, that's right. We do have Texas, South Carolina tonight. 32-32. That's a high score in half. Let's get Mr. Delane in the boot. All right. Last thing. I talked about this briefly last night. No stream tomorrow. Unless something just monumental happens. I don't like the College Football National Championship being this far away from the other playoff games. I do think it loses steam. All right, I do think the NFL has an effect on it. The buzz just wears off. We need the playoff to begin as soon as possible after conference championship weekend. And we could still mix all the other bowl games in. But there really is no reason for the hiatus being the way that it is now. Okay? There's no reason. Trying to figure out what this Lane emoji is. Love it, dude. Doesn't look like we're going to get it. No, he didn't do the tiger emoji. Someone said he just, I don't know. I don't see it on my feed here. So, Jay Pilgrim, you might be seeing something. All right, y'all. Go check out Mr. Ruffino if you want some other good LSU talk and AYS Sports. Don't forget, check out my YouTube membership bonus of offensive line target Alu Ba. That's for all our new members. Side of Benny, M. Dangle. Benny gifted out quite a bit. Lin. Looking forward to meet you at the next card show. Nick's Bata Trust. And Debo, thank you so much. No Venmos tonight. That's okay. And once again, big thanks to our supporters over at Labor Therapy and Labor Therapy. Yeah, I didn't see it on mine. Hopefully you're right. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! Tonight. I don't know what we're doing, but I'm hungry. Let's go.